Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden, and it's my joy to be on the air. And as that song says, our theme song, we who believe in freedom cannot rest till freedom comes. And so we know that there's work to do. I want to thank Marcus Street Shoes for constantly supporting Mother's Justice Show and all the other supporters in the past. I want to bring on my one of my sons. I got lots of sons, not only here in Seattle but across the country. And one of my sons is Anwar Peace. He used to live here in Seattle many years ago, but now he's living in Spokane, the wonderful Spokane, and he's on to spend some time with us to give us an update about Spokane. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well, and I'm very honored to be one of your sons.
Well, I'm a boy mama. I got granddaughters, but I'm a boy mama anyway. That's how my life rolls. I do have granddaughters though. I have one, two, three. I have four granddaughters, and
Well,
that's right. So yeah, I do. I'm blessed with that. Well, tell me, what's going on over there in Eastern Washington and near Idaho? What's up? What's up?
Spokane is facing some serious issues right now. We've got a three-pronged
Mm-hmm.
crisis that's taken place here, um, dealing with our homelessness,
Mm-hmm.
our fentanyl overdose deaths, as well as our police.
Oh wow.
Um,
Right.
and so, as far as our homelessness is concerned, this past year, 215 of our homeless neighbors passed away on the streets of Spokane. And I don't know if some of you all are familiar with our weather, our climate over here.
Mm-hmm.
But we have sub-freezing temperatures. And so sadly, 215 of our
Wow.
homeless neighbors died this past year, and that is a significant rise. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so this hits home for me because I work
Mm-hmm.
uh, with a Spokane homeless service provider, Jules Helping Hands. And I've had a client this past year pass away. And so uh,
Mm-hmm.
seeing how our homeless neighbors are affected by all of the elements here in Spokane has been
Mm-hmm.
really heartbreaking. This past year, as I was chair of the City of Spokane Human Rights Commission, and our Human Rights Commission actually passed a resolution, um, basically called the Homeless Bill of
Mm-hmm.
Rights, which declared that our homeless neighbors have the same rights as our housed neighbors. They have the right to congregate, they have the right to vote. All of these things that are enshrined in our Constitution, we wanted to uh, tell Spokane leaders that we wanted our Spokane homeless folks to also appreciate those same rights. And unfortunately, our city council pushed back at that resolution after Spokane business community came out against it. And so we're in a stuck point dealing with our homeless issues here in Spokane.
Wow. Well,
The the other the other issue that kind of is tandem with that is the fentanyl overdose issues that we have here. Um, so last year in Spokane, we had 346 folks die of overdoses. We're still waiting on finding out another 30 or 40, potentially more from the coroner. Um, and and that just shows you what kind of crisis we're in right now. The coroner's office is so backed up, they cannot get 2024's numbers out to us. And so we're still waiting on potentially 30 to 40 other deaths. But this is a significant um, rise in our community, about a 15% uh, rise. Um, Fortunately, our city leaders finally have decided that they're going to put some money behind this. So, $1.5 million has been ear tagged for more behavioral health and treatment beds. Um, but it's a day late and a dollar short because the community was asking for the city to declare a fentanyl crisis, a state of emergency, and our city leaders did not want to do that at that. And so when you add that up, between our homeless neighbors and folks that OD'd, we've got over 500 folks that have died over this past year.
Wow. Well, how do you keep, what's your, I want to ask you one thing before we continue. What's your practice? What is your spiritual practice? What do you do to keep your soul and your body healthy? I mean, because when
Well,
you came on, I mean, when we um, came on with a good song, and then I understand where we're working at and how it
mhm,
works. But what are you doing in the midst of this? How are you taking care of you as we go on? I mean, you don't have to think about it, but before we leave our talk today, give us some tools
okay.
on the journey of how to do the work and move through. Give us some tools, and you can think about them, and because we have to have tools
Hmm.
to get to this where we want to get to. So, and so I want you to kind of think. So your whole countenance has changed. Just taking a little breath in between what you were talking about. See, so.
Yeah.
Hmm.
As far as what are some of my tools, I use a lot of self-care. Um,
Okay.
I deliberately will turn off my phone and turn off input, and
Hmm.
just be in space.
Hmm.
Be in space with with caring, loving folks.
Okay.
That's great. Or just being myself. Recently, I took a trip last week to Olympia, and
Oh.
uh,
Mhm.
I forgot how much I love
Oh.
frolicking in the woods on the west side of the mountains, and so spent a lot of time in nature. Um,
Hmm.
and then, another aspect to my life is I'm really blessed to have some folks in my life that have a wonderful lake house and
Hmm.
in a secluded area. And so I'm able to visit that and spend time and let my hair down. And so those are some of the things that I do. But it is very important for folks in our work uh, to really take time um, to really honor yourself,
Hmm.
because you can't do this work unless you're functioning, right?
Right.
And I know
Hmm.
that some of us, there's a lot of problems out there, and
Hmm.
one person can fix the world, but it
Hmm.
also one person also has to take care of themselves in order to take care of the world. So I
That's
I
true. Hmm.
I really believe in self-care, and
Hmm.
so yeah, those are some of my steps.
All right. Well, that sounds good. That sounds good. I just wanted to take a little minute to talk about self-care as I'm learning more. As somebody who's been out there doing the work decades, I mean, a generation or more. So,
Yeah, and
yes, I'm interested in that piece. So,
recently, I a friend of mine got me a book for me to read, and it's been very interesting to read. It's called My Grandmother's Hands: A
mhm.
Racialized Trauma and the Pathway to Mending Our Hearts and Bodies.
ah,
Um, it
send me
is a
that title when we're done.
it has a
Yeah,
lot of
because my grandmother was born in 1889. Shall I say any more?
it has the book has a lot of great exercises on
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
really.
I like to get that. I like
Yes.
to have that. See,
Yeah.
because as we move through things, I understand fentanyl because I had a fentanyl exposure and didn't know it
Hmm.
because I didn't know what the miss was going on. And true transparency to my listeners, and I was moving on to the other side until somebody helped me.
Yeah.
And my person, it was my beautician, and she took all this stuff. They have to have a high level of stuff to clean people off.
Hmm.
I mean, because like that, like at the hospital stuff.
Hmm.
And she I was able to make sure that I didn't leave here. And so it's hardly no place safe unless you went out to the woods because fentanyl is everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is everywhere, and it is by design. It's the new crack.
Yeah.
It's like wow. So I understand. I've had two experience, and actually, it was where I lived at. I mean, I lived in an apartment, I building first time ever, and so yeah. So when you talk about it, I understand it, and
And it was really interesting, when, these numbers came out, some of our conservative politicians here in Spokane really wanted to try to uh, give a lot of misinformation about
that's
these
right. Mm-hmm.
OD deaths. And so, with the high number of homeless deaths, they
Mm-hmm.
were trying to equate that these OD deaths were also homeless folks.
Oh
But
wow.
but I'm somebody that loves data, and so
Mm-hmm.
looking into the data, it actually, the majority of folks that died through overdose were actually housed individuals.
Wow.
Uh, now, I will say that this is such an epidemic. Just 2 hours ago, we had another fentanyl death that took
Wow.
place in the streets. Um, and so it is it is incumbent upon Spokane leaders to try to declare a state of emergency here, like the community asked for over a year ago, but also put pressure on this police department. Um, the fact that they are not doing any kind of major bus um, or major operations, that we've seen any kind of tangible results for the past 3 years. We haven't seen anything, and these
Wow.
drugs are still on our streets. Um, and that kind of gets me to my third prong of our crisis here, the police. Now, like you and I know, we've been battling these agencies for many years. Uh,
Right.
but the police over in Spokane are definitely um, a different breed. Um, your listeners might not know, but Spokane is the third deadliest police force in the nation. Third,
Wow.
and
Wow.
that's according to Mapping Police Violence. It's an organization um,
Mm-hmm.
based out of Harvard that studies this. Just in the last 79 days here in Spokane, we've had three officer involved shootings.
Mm. Wow.
79 days, three officer involved shootings. Now, luckily, only one of them was a fatality, and I'll circle back to that one in a second. But one of them, one of the shootings that uh, they did survive, but
Mm-hmm.
one of the shooting situations was an incident where a domestic violence victim had called police because her perpetrator was there. Police responded and then shot the domestic violence victim as well as the perpetrator as well.
Wow.
When you call police here, there is a 50-50 chance that you might get shot.
Yeah. Wow.
And, you know, in 2024, we had six fatal shootings.
Wow.
Was the deadliest year that we've ever had in a decade. And one of those shootings in 2024 happened to be my upstairs neighbor, Joshua Musselman. I was home during this incident, and four officers shot him from a sniper's perch. Um, he um, he had an airsoft rifle, but he was inside his apartment at the time that he was shot.
Wow.
He was going through a mental health crisis, um, and when police initially gave their press release, um, they did not mention the fact that an hour and a half before the shooting, police had been called, but police failed to give services to Joshua Musselman.
Wow.
And so part of the problem that we have here in Spokane is that we have at least 15 officers that have killed three or more people.
Multiple shooters is what I'm calling them.
Yep.
Multiple.
And so in the case of
Mhm. Multiple shooters.
Musselman, my upstairs neighbor, mind you, these 10 to 15 AR 15 rounds came 18 inches from killing me.
Mm.
let's forget about that. But one of the officers that killed Joshua Musselman, um, 8 months earlier, had shot and killed somebody with a knife.
Wow.
Another one of those officers, one of the four officers, um, he had shot somebody in 2022. A third officer, he had also shot somebody in 2022, about a month after that other officer had shot somebody. And that's what we have here. We have
I
a
think we ought
pattern.
to take a break between this and that. Okay, let's see if Eric can. Let's see if my studio manager can play a song for us, and then come back and continue with this heavy subject. Eric is so good, even when I didn't send him a music list. So let's take a break. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show. We're going to take a break, and Eric is going to find some music for us.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
Oh, you're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. I am here, Reverend Walden. You're listening for the Mother's Justice Show, 11:50 a.m. KKNW. Thank you for my listeners, and thank you for being supportive of Mother's Justice Show. I want to bring my guests back on. It's Mr. Anwar Peace, a wonderful name, Spokane, Washington, telling us about what's going on in there, and it's pretty heavy about Spokane, man. And I'll ask him the racial breakdown of Spokane when he said, "How you doing, Mr. Peace?" I'm gonna call you Peace. You're working for Peace. I'm gonna call you Peace. How you doing, Peace? Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing quite well.
We needed to kind of shake it up. I should say I needed it to shake it up. I have to keep my vibrations high as we maneuver here. So we got about 4 or 5. We got about 5 minutes here, maybe. So let's see what else we can do here and talk about it, and what kind of help you might need or want the people to know about.
Well, I really wanted to really reach out across the mountains and ask for awareness from the West
Mm-hmm.
Side about what's happening here in Spokane. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of this does not get covered in Western Washington news, but we have a significant problem here, and folks are hurting. Um,
Okay.
the aspect that we have all of these officer involved fatalities, every time there's a new one that re-traumatizes the last impacted family that had to deal with it. And so to deal with
Right.
this constant cycle is just heartbreaking to watch these family members deal with this. And so my ask is for Western Washington to try to educate themselves about what's happening over here. Not everything is doom and gloom. We have recently got a new police chief. He was from Tucson,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he has uh, Native Americans in his family. And so it was
Mm-hmm.
very interesting going to his swearing in ceremony. I've been to many police chief swearing in
Mm-hmm.
ceremonies before, and there was a musical guest. And I've seen musical guests before, and usually they're bagpipes. Um, for our police chief's uh, swearing in ceremony, he had Native American prayer song with the spoons from the
Wow.
Colville tribe. And so that was very refreshing to see on day one. And so Chief Kevin Hall, I'm looking forward to seeing how he plans on resolving some of these issues. Um, he has already started with the fact that he's recognizing that our Spokane officers um, do not slow down enough. They rush, 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 and because of that rush, they're killing people. And so Chief Hall is getting a new de-escalation criteria and retraining the force on some of those techniques. And he's also willing to engage with the community on hearing about these multitude of issues. And so that is something remarkable because our last chief was very pig-headed.
Right.
No pun intended.
Well, what's the racial breakdown of the population in Spokane?
Well, it is majority Caucasian. And it's I believe it's like 88% ish.
Hmm.
I think African Americans are about 3%.
Mm.
Uh,
Wow.
uh, and I think that's the largest
Mm.
population. Well, yeah.
Wow.
We all, I will say that's one of the interesting things about Spokane is we have the second largest population of Marshallese community members. And the first largest population in the country is in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Wow.
So we do have that, but it is a really
Majority Caucasian town.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is which is which is very interesting because when you then look at the racial breakdown of our county jail, completely opposite.
Well,
It
that's
is
how that happens in those places. We don't have but just a few more minutes now, so actually our time is almost up. So as we talk and close out, what would you want the people, you want more of an exposure of what's going on in Western Washington for people to know, is one of the things you said. And also, it seems to me that there should be a way to bring the community together in a different kinds of way. And one of the things that I'm also doing is doing virtuous healing circles.
oh
So,
yeah.
that might be a way that I could come over and do some work. But um, just say two things or three things quickly. Just what your hope is going forward.
Well, going forward, the City of Spokane Human Rights Commission is going forward with a Courageous Conversation series dealing with public safety
Hmm.
and welcoming impacted families and the community to exchange dialogue. That's one of the things that's been missing here, specifically in Spokane. Um, but really reaching out to having your listeners reach out to organizations like the
Hmm.
Washington Coalition for Police Accountability, or if folks are interested in homelessness here in Spokane, the agency I work for, Jules Helping Hands, we're a wonderful service provider here in our community. But mainly, uh, just asking your listeners to get involved in some way, shape, or form in their community, whether or not that's just giving a smile to somebody as they walk down the street. Let's be kind to each other out there.
Well, the world should, we really need more kindness. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah,
Mhm.
right. And it doesn't cost anything to be kind.
Nope.
That's the wonderful thing about it. So I've enjoyed having you on my show today. And as usual, I will be reaching out to you again. And let's keep this conversation going, okay?
Absolutely. It was an honor
All
to
right.
talk to you and your listeners.
All right. Always the same with you. Thank you. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm going to take a host. I am your host, and we'll take a break right now. Thank you.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKMW. I am your host, Reverend Walden, and I love that song. My grandmother loved that song. Thank you, Eric. I want to bring on my next guest here, Miss Twanda Hill. She's a longtime friend. We got to working together on Breaking the Silence and on Black crime. And you did one of those groups for us. You did a listening group for us. People's idea around violence many years ago. Remember that?
No, I don't. But I mean,
well, our sister girl,
my eight.
I ran that came. She came. She ran that campaign for the Silent War campaign. And
so that would make sense that I would be involved.
You were involved with that. And we had a listening session. And I think Sheila was still alive then. Sheila and we came and you talked about New York City. You talked about things and violence that's in New York when you were growing up. I mean, it's a worldwide issue, but that's how I first met you.
Yeah, because my father was a victim of, he was murdered. Yeah, so
right.
30 years ago. Yeah, so that would make sense. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Small world.
It
Small
is.
world, Reverend
But
Harriett.
in those days, nobody wanted to talk about violence. Remember? I mean, nobody wanted to talk about it. I mean, I know that this is Dr. Maxine Mims' here show, but people didn't want to talk about it.
Yes.
And it's hard. It's a hard conversation, but we had that conversation.
And I think what made it so much harder too was that the gentleman who murdered my father, I don't even know if he served 10 years. Because, especially black on black crime, they don't care about that. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we were trying to heal that. That's what our job was, to try to heal it. And we couldn't get a lot of traction on a national level. We reached out to people, but that didn't go anywhere. But now it's a lot of traction. But be that as is may, Dr. Maxine Mims would have been telling us to have hope and giving us some guidance. And that's what you're here today, to actually spend the rest of our time talking about the late wonderful Dr. Maxine Mims.
Yes.
Thank you, Twanda. You were there. You were there with all the steps of her journey almost. So thank you for being there. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. We had the honor last Saturday, the 8th, to do her official celebration of life. And it was an amazing experience. With technology, we were able to be in the room or on listening to, or watching it on the stream. So you could participate in many different ways, but to be in the room, you could just feel her presence, her love, her joy. It was just, I saw a video that JT did. He did a kind of a collage video. You would have thought we were at a party because we were dancing. By the time we got to fellowship and eat, the music was going, people were dancing and moving. Throughout this celebration, we showed those clips of her dancing to the drums. It was really a festive celebration. So hopefully we represented what she wanted for her last party, her last on earth party. She's, they up there partying, having a good time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her and Odetta and Maya Angelou and all of the people. I mean, I think she knew Cicely Tyson, and she knew some of the greats.
Yes, she was Nick Ashford, Nick Simpson, Valerie Ashford and Simpson. Nick Simpson, they were all good friends. And so and then, her husband, Jack, the love of her life.
Yes.
anytime I wanted to make her laugh or smile, I'd say his name and she was like a schoolgirl giddy. So
Well,
yes,
let's tell our listeners how old she was when she moved her on to the other side of time.
she was 96 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving her her half year. 96 and a half. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the celebration, she would have been 97 on March 4th. And so
That's right.
that's why
Mm-hmm.
we had the celebration that weekend following her next birthday. So,
Mm-hmm.
for somebody who passed away, she left uh, real clear instructions on what she wanted. She wanted a party similar to her 90th birthday. She wanted Josephine to sing. She loves the elegance of the tablecloths and just everything to look pretty. And she just wanted it to be a real community celebration. And I know people thought, oh, you should have done a larger venue. But guess what? This is the venue she selected. And the one thing, if you know me, we have conversations about death the same way we have conversations about life.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We
Because
do.
I'm so sick of people dying and you got to pass a hat to bury them or to take care. No, so I will. If you know me, we've had a conversation on life and
Mm-hmm.
death, and like, what do you need? Who do you need? There's too many people in our community that can help you plan for a funeral, prepay for a funeral. They can help you with your financial planning. That there's no reason for us to not know what we need to do when we leave here. And so the more I can speak about it and refer people, and it's just, this should be part of our everyday conversation, not something we do occasionally.
Well, I agree to that. I certainly do. But also, Dr. Mims, well, I mean, she was outstanding. I mean,
Mm,
and she left a wonderful, she left a wonderful, wonderful road mark for us. I mean, it's already there. She
yes.
did everything. I mean, like I say, she came through at a very different time. And then, well, look what she passed on. Look
Yes.
what she passed on.
Lots of
That.
clarity,
Mm-hmm.
educated a whole community. One of the things that I want people to think about is, what's your next assignment? Because she did not want us just to take what she given us and just let it die. Her challenge to every single one of us is, how are you paying it forward? What's your next assignment? And so, because it can't stop with her dying and it can't stop with us. So we all got assignments. I said at the celebration, a year from now, I'm gonna do an online big old party, 300 people, and I just want to hear what everybody's done this year to move their assignments forward.
Well, I got mine, and I'll be working on it.
You want to
I'll be
share it?
working. And my assignment is that I want to just think about what she meant to me and how she came into my life and how I was there for her and the empowerment and how she always looked for me to come to the book to the critical conversation.
Mm,
She really did. She wanted to know if I was coming because she knew that I had the ability to hold the container of energy high,
mm,
and I
mm.
can always interject. I mean, because people should not be bringing their problems there for her to solve. I
Yes,
mean, and I would always raise the energy. Let's raise it up. And she
yes,
knew that I could do that. And I think there's some other people who could do that too. I mean, people who could sing, or because sometimes you have to interject something and
absolutely.
bring the spirits up high. See,
Right. And
see,
she
and
always
bring
knew
in
the
hope.
right combination of people to have with her.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah, that was
And I was one
truly.
of the persons that she would always call me. Are you coming tonight? And yeah, and when sometimes I really hadn't planned to come that night, but just to hear her say, "Are you coming tonight?" And I say, "Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming. And
Right.
come on over there, and and make it better for. Did you bring a selection that you wanted to? Is anything we could make sure we give Eric time enough to get to it? But is any selections around Odetta that Reverend that Dr. Mims liked so well?
You know what? Not that I know of. I think anything you play of Odetta, she would absolutely enjoy. I had sent you a list. There was a CD that Maya Angelou had done that was a compilation of artists with Shaka Khan and
Hmm.
um, uh, gosh, we played that CD to death. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, with Maxine and I, she really didn't have like one song or one genre. She played music depending on the mood she wanted to establish. You
Okay.
know, if she was trying to bring a certain energy out of you or a certain skill out of you, she would play combinations of music just so you could sit and listen. And so I don't have a favorite Odetta song of her, but anything. Odetta was one of her dear, dear friends. And she said, I remember her talking about Odetta and the energy Odetta extended when she performed. It's like it almost took her to the next day to wind down from her
Oh,
performances. That's how high she was, and that's how much energy she put forward. Yeah. So anything,
wow.
I remember her 80th birthday. We actually were, Miss Odetta came to Seattle for her 80th birthday.
I was there. I have
Yes.
never missed a birthday. I was
Yeah.
there.
Yes. That was a surprise for her. And they hung out. Oh my goodness. You know, they almost didn't make the party.
They didn't
Because
having such a party themselves.
oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
that is really amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we will give Eric a few seconds to see, minutes or whatever is necessary to see if he can find something by Odetta.
Okay,
And
okay.
I guess I missed that email coming back to me that I didn't see that. I'm
That's okay. I'm gonna put it in the chat for
sorry
him as well.
that I didn't see it. Okay, okay, that'll be lovely. That'll be lovely. Yeah, it'll be lovely. And just think about all the cadre of people that she's known in her lifetime. You know.
Yes.
Oh man, that's it's amazing.
But you know what her special skill was is that
Hmm.
I don't care who you were, you felt important in her world, and she
That's right.
spoke to you like that.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember sitting in the school with her one day, and she was talking to a little gangbanger guy, and she was explaining to him how he was really an office manager, you know, how he knew how to he was a bookkeeper, he was an accountant. She turned all the things that he might have been doing in the name of wrong into
Hmm.
positive affirmations to show him that you know, you can be an accountant. You can be a bookkeeper. You don't have to, if you know how to manage how to set up these burglaries and how to pawn this equipment. She said, you're a business owner. You know, I mean, you know, somebody in prison, they never heard nobody tell them their skill set is they're a business owner, you know, and so, but that encouragement, I remember one time the legislator, she was down at the legislator trying to get money, you know, for suspended and expelled kids. And she said, um, would you rather have them in school with me or would you rather have them standing outside the post office so when your mother came out, they banged over her head and took her check?
Wow.
So imagine, no, I'd rather have them at school with you than at the post office waiting on my mom to come out. So she really had a way with words that made you understand um, what was necessary and what was true. Like we can wordsmith and she could use big words or she could break it down to you and say, look, we want to get these kids educated. We want to do something for them. We need to get them off the streets. And this is how I can do it. So
Well,
yes.
one thing she was good at actually was telling everybody that they were a genius.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I remember when she put her credentials on some papers for me, and she told me, "Oh, you are the smartest woman I ever met. You just brilliant, real brilliant." And I said, "Wow." And but I didn't know she told everybody that. And it's like, oh, it becomes true.
Yes, because if you see it and believe it, if you hear it and believe it. And so, but you know what? I laughed at her. I said, I ain't listening to you no more because she sent some people my way. I'm like, no, I will vet them
Oh,
myself. I'm not
wow.
going to take your word for it. And she would laugh because she knew good and well when she was sending you somebody who needed,
Hmm.
they weren't quite the geniuses yet. They have potential, but I'm like, no,
Oh,
I'm a
yeah,
vet people
yeah.
myself, Max. I'm not listening.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
not going to listen to you because, but she does instill a confidence in you. So even if
that's
you
right.
didn't know you were a genius, she'd
No.
make you think that there was a possibility. Yeah, well, maybe that is correct. Maybe I am a genius.
Well,
And that,
her greatest product for me, a person that I saw come forth and to believe in was Daryl.
mm, hmm
Because he had been in special ed, and she started calling him professor.
yes, yes.
And then what was he doing? He was doing research and coming back and taking up all the time. We would be but
Yeah.
he was bringing back. He actually believed it. He embodied that to be true for him.
See, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
that's the magic that she brought. Because you all thought you could do it. You could achieve it. Um, look, you can't tell me I'm not the best event planner in town.
well, you are. Hey, you are. You are really and truly. She thought I was a great inspire. Let's see if Eric might have found might have been able to just find a little music by Odetta, so we can just have a little break. Let's see, he'll let me know. Well, we just go. All right, thank you. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Rev Walden. We'll be right back.
It's all right.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Make us part of your daily routine. Alternative Talk 1150.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. And we will listen to that wonderful song one of the songs that Dr. Mims likes so well. So we're going to bring my guest back on, Ms. Twanda Hill. She's is a event planner, and guess what? Top. She was top of the job on this one. Welcome back, Ms. Hill. Top of the job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, it was a pleasure.
Mhm.
But the one thing, Reverend Harriet, I always have a team of people who help me bring it together.
Mhm.
And it was no different for the celebration of life. Ann Gaston Polite, that woman is so creative.
Oh yes.
She could just take
Mhm.
anything and make it look elegant on top of elegant. And
Mhm.
so she was a big support. Josephine Hauer, Vanya C.
Mhm.
Bynum, those are my people. Deidre Barrow.
Mhm.
The fun thing about Dr. Mims is when you call or you need something for her, it's not hard to get people to say yes because there was so much love for her and she was so revered. And even the brothers of the Elephant Party, Eddie Hampton, he came in and did security. And it wasn't really security. He just was helping greeting people at the door, getting them to the right locations in the right places. And he brought his team of people in. So it just was really an all around amazing, amazing event. the staff at Evergreen College were so helpful. Michelle and Trudy and Madeline. I mean, just whatever I needed, they were there to help. So it was amazing, amazing, amazing.
Well, it sure was. I wasn't there in body, in person, but I was there on the Zoom, and it was amazing. It very much,
Yes,
yeah, it was amazing.
yes, yes,
And I was
yes.
so glad to see all the people there. Most of them I knew, I had seen before. And also, I could sense from the video, from the Zoom, that it wasn't a lot of sadness in the room. It was more joy.
It was a lot of joy.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was
Hmm.
no need for sadness because um, it was a joyful occasion. And, I think her granddaughters really felt the love that the community
Hmm.
has for them. And just knowing that, they can, whatever they need, there's a whole community that has their back. So just wanted to make sure the mayor came and he had a good time.
Hmm.
He gave us a very white impression of the proclamation.
Yes, he did.
Nothing like being in the room with your people, and he just felt the energy and felt the love. And so
Yeah.
people really enjoyed him. The messaging, Reverend Kelly Brown, she couldn't be there in person
Yes.
because she was in
Hmm.
Selma at the 60th anniversary celebration of the March against across Pettus Bridge, the Edmund Pettus
Hmm.
Bridge. But she recorded a beautiful
Wow.
message, and Charlotte Beeler, yeah, the opening prayer, and Makata came through on that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, she came
Yeah.
through on the
Hmm.
libation.
Oh, yes. Hmm.
I tell you, Vanya, people don't know Vanya is in her late 50s. But I mean, if you could see her legs go up in the air, I'm like, oh my goodness, the magic of dance and the power of dance. And
Hmm.
Josephine and her daughter Shaye singing. It just was so many people. Adifua. These are all people who Dr. Mims played an integral role in their lives as well. So it wasn't just like, oh, are you available? We really had a great cast of folks who helped showcase her brilliance and our love for her. You know,
Wow.
Adifua told a story and said that when they first came back from New York,
Hmm.
Dr. Mims, if you hired her, you had to bring in Adifua
That's
as the
right.
opening act. I'm like,
That's
right
right.
on. That's
Oh,
next.
yeah. That really is her. That's how she got things done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this has been such a great time together. We'll have to do it again. We'll
Absolutely. I
have to
would
do it
love
again.
to. I
We
would
have to
love
do it
to.
again. Oh, right on,
Yes.
right on, right on. I've enjoyed you tremendously today, and her
Thank you.
music, her life, and just having you here. And I want to thank you for being on my show today. And we'll look forward to keep this going. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have
Oh,
a great
you're
day.
welcome.
Okay. Much love.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Thank you. You've been listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host from Walden, and we'll be back next week. Take care.